Hi everyone, this is Christine Josty of Mail Something Pretty, and thank you for joining me today. I wanted to show you this fun sunflower card that shows a few different techniques. This is a spotlighting. Sometimes the spotlighting is a smaller area, but it raises up one section and it spotlights the just the colored part, not the black and white part. I was going to show you how to use a mask, and I'm going to color in the sunflower with the new water painters. So let's get started. Let's see. So really just need 3 pieces of cardstock. I used, the base is thick white, and I just cut it standard, just cut the paper in half. So it's ends up being a 5.5 by 4 1/4 card. It's a standard card. And then, I'll have to measure it because I don't remember. The white, and actually I did it on shimmer white paper, and I'll tell you why in a second. This, I actually used my dies, the rectangle inlets, and I used the fourth from the fourth biggest one, almost the middle size one. But if you don't have these dies, you can easily cut a rectangle. And so let me measure because I don't know what size it is. It's 2 5/8 by 4. So you could always, whatever size you do, then just make your border a little bit bigger like that. Okay. And let's see what else. So I think we can actually start stamping. I'm going to use the Stamparatus for this one. You could certainly use a block, but the sunflower from this set, it's pretty large, so you would need that really big block. I forget what letter it is. It might be E or F. I don't remember. It's that big one. But I really like using the Stamparatus, especially for big stamps. So let me show you, put that there so it sits flat, what I did. I put my card base right, I folded it. This is just washi tape, so it peels right off. But I like that because I usually put my paper always in that guideline, so I know where it's going, especially if I'm going to be doing multiple stamping, so I could, stamp and then take the paper out, put the next paper in, so I know exactly where it's going. And so that's why that's there. And then, so I'm going to use these and the magnets got together. Let's see. You don't want your magnets to come together. Luckily, they didn't break, because they can break. Do you hear how strong they are? All right, so actually, before I do that, I forgot a step. So you are going to take, whether you're using the seal or the old snail, a tiny bit, because I'm going to tape it, but I'm going to take it off. So you only need a tiny bit. And you are going to put that down in the center. Okay, and then I'll put these down now. This actually has a name too when you do the different layers, but I don't remember what they're calling. A lot of times they'll do like the 3 layers together and stamp and then put the borders in between. You may have seen it. I just can't recall what it's called. All right, and so then I think I want my sunflower, and I want it to hang off that little inner rectangle. I'm going to put it there. And I'll stick it down like that. And so now I'm using, so I'll take a break to tell you this. I'm using StazOn Black. This is a permanent black ink to be used whenever you introduce water. So I'm going to be coloring the sunflower in with the ink pads, which are water-based, in the water pen. So I want to use the StazOn, excuse me. If you wanted to use, and I actually have samples here, if you wanted to use the blends markers, which I did here, I just didn't put the little taggy on it yet. Kind of see the difference. You need to use not this ink. So if you're using the blends markers, you're going to use the Memento black ink. The blends will bleed with this. So StazOn is always when you introduce water. So the watercolored pencils or the aqua paint, water painters, or just regular black is fine too. Or if you want to stamp on something, you want it to be permanent, like a coaster or plastic or something like that, you want to use StazOn. But if you use the blends markers, use Memento. And so here's another one. So not pretty. So there's real sunflowers with these colors, so I mimicked them. So you can color your sunflowers any color you want. So those are two other samples. That's the one I want. All right, so we're using the StazOn because we're going to use the aqua painters. And so the reason why I put the stamp case under here, it makes the this plate nice and level. So if I didn't have it there, I would be just okay inking on the diagonal, but I like to have a nice like surface. All right, put that back because it's permanent. Okay, and then I will press down. They do sell also, if you get StazOn on your blocks or on things, it's called StazOn Remover. It's in the catalog, and it's great. And I use it for lots of things too, just to take off stains off the table and blocks. It works out really good. All right. So actually that's good. I didn't get the best impression that I wanted, so I'm gonna re-ink it. And the beauty of the Stamparatus is, and because I taped it on there too, it's not moving, so I'm just gonna kind of squish the ink in here. I like my black ink to be really nice and black, so I actually do re-ink it often. I like it black and crisp. Press down on that middle. There we go, much better. So I could keep doing it to keep getting a darker and darker impression. All right, so this is an old one. It comes with a little plastic cover. Okay, so that's that. Although actually we're gonna use it again in a second. All right, so I'm gonna leave the magnets on there, and I'm just gonna do the rest on here too. So I mentioned we were gonna do masking. So how I got these leaves here, and so they're kind of look like they're tucked behind the flower. So if I was to go stamp them on top, then you would have it on top. So then this introduces masking. So I use just a piece of photocopy paper, because you want it to be thin. So like a Post-it note works great, but this is a little bit bigger than my Post-it notes. And the Post-it notes actually has a little sticky on it. I just didn't have the big pad. So it's copy paper. I stamped the sunflower on it, and then I cut around it. And so now I'm going to put this on top, and I'm going to be able to line it up because I have these funky little leaves there. I say that, and then I need to line it up. There we go. So see how it covers it? Now if you used a sticky note, it would stick, but I don't have a sticky note, but that's all right. I'm going to hold it down with my finger, and you can see that I've used this mask many times. We did this in club, and so you can see how many leaves, because it's so solid, so which means I know exactly where to put them. So I'm going to put one here, one here, and one right here. So I wanted it to go onto the card base. So when I lift it up, see, if I didn't have the mask, you would have had part of the leaf on top of the sunflower. And so that makes it go underneath. So it's a cool little technique. It's great when you want like perspective. Say you wanted a snowman and you wanted a snowman underneath, or a tree or something. So you stamp what you want in front first, and then what you want behind, you stamp after with the mask. So you put a mask down and then you stamp. It's kind of a cool, fun technique. All right. So now I can take it off. I'm just going to put a scrap paper here for now till I clean off my stamp so it doesn't get that ink on my base. And I'm going to lift this off. Actually, I'm going to twist it. It comes off nice. I'm going to put it on. So remember, with a seal, you pull and you kind of rock it forward to make that break. Okay, so like that. So now I'm going to paint or color. This was the stamp set. I don't think I said the Celebrate Sunflowers. We used it. It's a set I use a lot. Okay, so for coloring, I have the new style ink pads and the old style ink pads. They both work fine, so I still use them. And I'm going to use these are the aqua, no, that's the old name. Oh, I don't have one. The blue ones with the aqua painters. These are called water painters, the same thing. However, the water painters come in a 3-pack, whereas the aqua painters used to come in a 2-pack, and they just had like two, a small tip and a big tip. And but now that these have a this, I don't know, paintbrush, this thick paintbrush, which is really cool if you wanted to make stripes, or I don't know, I haven't thought of what else to make without stripes, but this is part of the pack. I'm just going to use this one for now, and there's water in it, you can see. So these they actually screw opposite what you think. They just screw off, and you just fill them with water, and then it's reversed. They changed the direction of the, and then you just screw it on, and then the water seeps through to the paintbrush. Sometimes you need to give it, see, it says even push, a little squeeze, and then I didn't clean that off very well, and then the water comes through. Okay, so there's different ways you can do this. You could pick up a little bit of ink off the pad and paint. You can, these are the old pads, so you could squeeze them together, and then some ink comes in here, and then you could pick up some ink here. You could take a re-inker and squeeze the re-inker into here, and then I would add like a little water because that would be really concentrated. Or if you have like a couple people over, or you have the new pads, which I'll show you how to squeeze, but the new ones are harder to squeeze. You can take a block and just stamp the block in there, and then you can pick up the ink right from the block, so it's like a paint palette, and then you could paint like that. So let me finish painting here, and then I'll show you the green. And you can see I'm painting quickly, and I usually do. I am a precise paper crafter, but when I paint, I like to kind of do it quickly. It gives a little different colorations, and then I'll go back a little bit, and we'll go back with so I like a little bit of the white shown. That was Daffodil Delight. This is Crushed Curry, so it's a little darker, just to give a little layers of darkness. And so then I'll go over, even with the where the lines are, because usually that's where it's darker. That's a little hint. Or if there's leaves or petals behind something, those are generally darker. You just have to kind of look to see where the light hits. But again, I like a little bit white showing. So I'm a kind of a fast painter. All right, I'm actually happy with that. So there's different ways to clean your painter. You can kind of squeeze it, and the water kind of comes through like that until it's clear. Or, this is the lazy way, you have a little plastic container, just like with paintbrushes, and you just water it. I hope I don't spill it. All right, so close this one too. The green, so this is that newer design. I guess it's probably about 2 years old now, but I still think of them as new. It's harder to squeeze, but you can, I find, if you turn the ink pad upside down, then you squeeze it, you get a little bit better impression. So you still can get in there. So that's a little dark, so I'm going to add a little water. And then you can pick up a little bit of the dark part. So remember, I'm only painting on this part of the card, not that part of the card, that spotlight effect. And let me just do the brown real quick for the middle. And that I did an early espresso. I add water too, because that's pretty dark. Now remember, I said when or maybe I didn't, with the water, with painting, I like to use the shimmery white paper. So there's really two papers that work best, the shimmery white paper or watercolor paper, because it holds the water better. If you use the regular white cardstock, a little bit would be fine, but if you're doing a lot of painting, and this is a lot, you know, it's a lot of water, the paper will buckle, but also it can kind of pill, like some of the layers of the paper come off. So I really do think that the shimmery, and I don't know if you can, there is a, I don't know if you can see it, there is a little shimmer to it, and it's slightly different. It's not exactly white, it's not exactly vanilla, it's kind of in between, but I think it looks fine on the white. All right, just clean up my mess here. And we are almost done. So now you could either use a dimensional to pop it up, but I think I'm just going to use a seal. And then when we put it down, you just kind of line up as best you can, because you have that little white mark. So I'm just going to go over till I lose that. Okay, and then I have a couple shapes and words. Let's see. So some of them came from the Tasteful Label dies. So this guy I used in the circle, and I think I used this rectangle from the rectangle ones. And I did emboss them in white ahead of time because I think it looks nice on the black. It'll look pretty. So that I will use a dimensional for. Put that like that. There's a thinking of you version. And what I didn't do on the inside, but I will either put, I'll have to decide if I want to put leaves or there's a sunflower or smaller sunflower on the inside, because I don't like to leave my cards blank on the inside. So I'll do either one. And also I think that would look nice on the envelope, and then I could just paint it or color it the same. Okay, so I highlighted 3 techniques. So we did the spotlight with the raised section, and I did the masking, and I showed you how to use the water painters to color. So thank you very much for watching. I'm Christine Josty from Mail Something Pretty, and be sure to follow all my my blog posts and social media and everything, and please comment and interact, because that's kind of how I know what you guys want to see and learn. So thanks very much. Have a great day.